Today we are revisiting a pattern that was featured on the channel 5 years ago in 2018. I've got a different size now, the fitting is different. I've decided to make it a little different to the original. So if pant fitting and sewing is something that you are interested in, this is for you. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, and today I'm here to share a brand new pair of pants. These are the Duet trousers from Love Notions, and I made this pattern back in 2018 when it was just released. 5 years ago, back then I was 39 years old. Now I'm 44 and I've revisited this pattern. The original pattern has been tweaked and improved, but also extra sizes were added because in the past it only went from 2 to 26 US and now it goes from 0 to 32 US. So that's good. Back then I made this little number. It's a really nice crepe suiting fabric in very bold colors. Back then I wasn't making many pants and this sort of marked my comeback into making pants, and then I've been making loads and loads and loads of pants and I've really enjoyed it. So this is a really special pair for me. I have to confess, I've always enjoyed sewing dresses and stuff more, but I really like sewing pants now. And there are two leg types here. One is tapered, one is straight. The waistband is curved. There are two waistband options actually, one that is curved and one that is a lot more curved for a more curvy figure. And you can use a yoga waistband if you're sewing one with a knit fabric. In that case, you can skip the zipper that is on one of the hips. You would have to use that zipper if you're making this in a woven, and the technique in the pattern is an invisible zipper. At the back you have waist studs, and on the front you have curved pocket openings, and the pocket lining and bag inside it extends the full front, so it feels really nice on. And those are the basics of the pattern. Now with this update, with this new update, there is another version added to this pattern that already incorporates a full tummy adjustment. So if that's something that you've struggled with and you think you need on your own pants, then there is a version with that already there. It gives you a larger waist and just a little more room in the front. Because the Duets have had a big update, they are going to be $5, not just today Friday, but for the whole weekend. And also Tammy has produced a sewing course around this pattern, so if you want a lot of support with the pants like that and you're newer to sewing, the course will be super helpful. So if you purchase the sewing course this weekend, you can get the Duet trousers for free if you don't have them in your account. So what you need to do is go to the website, put the trouser pattern in your cart first, and then put the sewing course in the trolley. That's how your pants are gonna appear for free there when you check out. If you are already logged into your account and you already have the Duet trousers, then you can just buy the course. You won't get the pattern for free. You can use my affiliate link to purchase the pattern and the course or both. And if you use my current code PINS10, you get 10% off. Remember, my code is changing every 3 months, so always check in the description box what the current code is if you're watching this in the future. But at this point, it's PINS10. This is a trouser pattern that is designed to work for both woven fabrics or structured knit fabrics, going from crepes, suitings, wool blends, linen, like a light denim, wovens, and you can try some stretch woven like stretch cotton, bengaline maybe, and then you can go to structured knits like ponte, double knits, Liverpool, scuba, that type of material. So if you're making this in a knit, you can skip the curved waistband and just add the yoga waistband and make these pull up instead of adding that zipper there. But if you're doing stretch woven or woven, I think you do need the zipper to get in. The length of that invisible zipper is anywhere from 7 to 9 inches. Disclaimer here,
I don't use invisible zippers.
I just don't like them. When I made my original pair, I used a regular zipper and just did a centered insertion. I've just had really bad experiences with invisible zippers that they break, they don't last very long. It's really difficult to unpick and replace, and I've just ruled them out. I just don't use them. But you might like them, so yeah, you can always use another zipper if you don't like the invisible zipper technique. This time you're gonna think, oh my gosh, how boring is this? My fabric choice, it's just black linen rayon blend, linen 55%, rayon 45%. I think it's just the perfect fabric that'll give you enough structure, but isn't that stiff either because it's got all that rayon in there. It's really easy to work with. I do not have a pair of black linen pants. I really needed and wanted one because I do wear a lot of linen pants. I think they're just easy to grab. They're so comfortable, and I just needed one. So that's what I made. I know, boring, but a black pair of pants that fit well are the ones that are gonna get worn and worn and worn and worn. It's a basic, it's a staple. and that's what you'll see. As I mentioned, more sizes were added with this update. So now up to a 32 US is a 59.5-inch hip. And to choose your size, you need to look at your full hip on the measurements chart. You also find measurements for your thigh, for your knee, for your calf, which is really, really useful if you have a different type of body that has a larger calf or a smaller thigh, that sort of thing. It'll help you choose your size. But the base size needs to be the full hip. This is not a high-waisted trouser. This is a mid-rise, which means it sort of hits around the navel, a little below the navel, around there. So to choose your size there, you need to look at the finished measurements chart, and you'll find there a waist measurement that is not actually at the waist, a little lower for the regular version or the full belly adjustment version. It might not correspond with the hip size. You might need to blend in and out. Remember, you're using a zipper, so you're perfectly able to do that. There's no issue there. And at the hips, you're going to have about 3 to 3.5 inches of positive ease. So it's not a super loose pant. It's not baggy. It's not super fitted. It's just right, I think. The finished measurement chart is really detailed. It doesn't just include the circumference of things. It also includes the inseam, which is 30 inches for all the sizes, and also how much the front and the back rise measures. So I think if you know what your body measures and where you want your waist to hit on these pants, I think that is useful to figure out how you can approach your fitting before you make a test garment. And just always make a test garment. You cannot skip it. Last time when I made my Duet trousers, I made a size 14. Now I'm sewing a size 18, and I made this hideous pair of a test garment. I used a centered zipper right there in the middle. It's just really, really rough, but it did really help me. I couldn't really post images or footage of me wearing it because it's super transparent. You can see my undies. So yeah, you're not going to see me wear this, but it was really helpful for me to figure out fitting and confirm the changes I'd made to the paper pattern. So I'll show you what those are. Here I have my front and my back piece for the Duet trousers. I've printed a new size. I'm doing a size 18 now according to my current hip measurement. And I've drawn the seam allowances here, 5/8 of an inch on the crotch, both for the front and the back, and also on the side seams and a little bit here on the inner leg. I've also pinned on the waistbands, as you can see there, so it's like they're going to be sewn, and I drew the 5/8 seam allowance that goes on the top of both waistbands. So what you can see here is that at the center front, this looks wider than that. Basically at the side seam, I added an inch, but here at the center front, I added 1.5 inches. So that 1.5 inches is what I needed for the top of this waistband to hit sort of right at the middle of my navel. These pants are supposed to hit mid-rise. I think that is absolutely fine. It doesn't have to go over my navel. At the back, you see I only have an inch there at the center back, and there is the top of the back waistband, and when I measure all of that, that will actually reach my waist at the back. I think it's more comfortable for me to have the back hit my waist, but then it can curve down a little lower at the front, and that's how these are going to fit. At the side seams, you see here and over there I have an inch, so they're going to match, but I just have a little bit more at the center front where I needed it. And that's the change I'm going to make. I'm going to sew my muslin and see where I'm at. If I need to tweak anything else, I'll see that with the muslin, maybe the shape of this curve, maybe the shape of that curve. I'll only know when I sew a test pair. My approach is really mathematical, and it's all about measuring the rise, marking the seam allowances, just very mathematical. And I'm able to do that on the pattern and then sew a test garment and then tweak from there. So it usually does save me a couple of test garments. If I know the rise is already short, I might as well fix that. So another little tweak I did to this test garment that I transferred onto my pattern was scoop out the back curve by about 3/8 of an inch. You can see a diagram there. And that's something I did with the garment on. Just I needed a little less volume there at the back. And for the length of these pants, I added 1.5 inch. I did film some sewing footage, but it won't be all compiled into one segment like I usually do. I do want to talk more about it. It's a little bit different. The format is a little different just because I'm not filming like a full tutorial, you know. I am going to show you the general changes I made to my pants because I wanted my pants to be different. You can see the original pair don't have any type of zipper in the center. I wanted a zipper in the center, and just by making that one change, then comes a bunch of other changes because then I have to change the waistband. I have to change the way I sew the pocket. So first, I mentioned I wanted to sew a zipper fly here. That means I need to add an extension to the center front piece, and I do have a full video showing you how to do that in detail, but I just filmed quickly the small changes I was making to the pattern so that you can see. This is my front pattern piece, and I've drawn the seam allowance here at the center front, and I've just stuck a piece of paper here, and now I'm going to draw the fly extension. So So from that line of the seam allowance, from right there, I want to measure 4.5 centimeters, which is 1 3/4 inches. That's the amount that I find works well for most zippers and will just turn out neat. Now I always want to stop my zipper before this starts curving in, so I never want to try and have zipper tape and zipper business around the curve. So around here. Now if you look this way, this is where the fullest part of the hip would be. So if the zipper stops there or a little below, then you'll be able to get into your pants because that is supposed to be the widest part of you. So considering that, anywhere below this point here is going to be okay. So I'm going to make a dot right here. That's where my zipper is going to stop, right here. From that down, I'm going to measure about 5/8 of an inch, and now this is where I'm going to curve in, and I can just do this freehand. This is going to be my front now. Section right here is going to be the fly extension, and that is the section that I want to interface right here. Easy peasy. And to make the fly shield, what I'm going to do is just trace this same shape right here that you see from the seam line this way. This is a fold of the paper, and I'm just going to put this behind this area. Align the edge right there. Just copy this curve, draw a little dot right here. So this is going to be my zipper shield. Cut it like that. When you sew this, you want to fold it, sew that, and then when you flip it, you get a clean edge on the... My video on how to sew this type of fly zipper when your front already has the extension is really detailed. It's really easy to follow. You can get the zipper in a few minutes, like literally like 3 or 4 minutes. It's really easy. So I'm not including that there. Go and look at that video if you want to see. But you can see how I added my little center front extension there, and then I was ready to go. The test garment is not just important to check out your feet. Of course, that is super important, but you can also test where you want your patch pockets to be if you want to put any. At the back, originally there's no pocket, and if I do have a print pants, I don't really care if there's a pocket there because no one's going to see it. But when I use a solid, I do want a pocket there, so I borrowed another pocket, and I'll just show you what my approach to that was as well. These are the 2 back pieces for my Duet trousers, and I've already sewn the back crotch, sewn it and serged it. And the original pants don't have a pocket on the back. I've already sewn the dart there, but I do want to add a pocket. I think if I'm working with a solid, I always want a pocket there. Rectangle, nothing really special. You can use a pocket from another pair of pants that you have. Folded it on the top by 1 inch and then folded it on the sides by 3/8. I had to piece the pocket to get it from my fabric, but I don't think it's wrong to have a seam with linen. You can get away with that. And I put this pocket on my muslin that I made to make sure I was getting it in the right place, and I just marked it right there with chalk where I want it to be. So the muslin is handy for that because it can help you place your pockets. I never skip that chance. I'm just top stitching these patch pockets on. Once they're on, I'll forget about it, put the back aside, and then go off to the front. I never feel bad when I need to add a seam to anything made in linen because it can look intentional, and the only place I could get my pockets from was the edge close to the selvage. So I just added a seam there and I called it a day, and I have my back patch pockets there. I'm really happy. Now, because of the zipper business, you know, I can't have the extended pocket on the front like you would. This is the original version. I don't have a zipper in the center front, and the pocket goes all across the front. You can see the pocket lining there. It's just one full piece. But when you have a zipper in the middle, of course, that's going to get interrupted. And you don't have to change your pattern piece at all. All you have to do is just not cut it on the fold. So I just want to show you how that's going to change a little bit. I do want to keep the pockets going all across the front. I think it feels really nice and comfortable. You might have seen some ready-to-wear garments like that. And yeah, I just think it's great. The Summer Key pants have this type of pocket, and I've hacked the Allegro pants pocket to be like that as well. I really enjoy it, and I really wanted to keep it here, even if I was adding a zipper there. So let's see. The original Duet trousers don't have a zipper in the center front. Of course, there's a zipper on one of the hips. That is one thing I've changed. You can see there I've got my fly front extension. I've already interfaced that. You saw how I just modified the front piece to do that. So that's ready, and the seam is there. But I still want my pockets to reach the full center, like the whole way across, like the original Duets would. So you change absolutely nothing. You just take your pattern piece for this pocket, and instead of cutting it on the fold, you just don't cut it on the fold. You just cut the fabric there, and you have one pocket for one side and one on the other, and that will reach that seam there. and that's how we're going to get a pocket that's going to cover the whole front, and it's going to feel really comfortable on your tummy. It's going to give you nice support. So you can see my colorful print there. I have already sewn this from the right side, flipped it in, done the under stitching, the top stitching, that is all done. And I'm just going to hold that right there with some hand basting for now, just to keep it without moving. And now I'm going to get the pocket bag, which is made out of the linen, the main fabric, and place it on top. That's going to complete the hip area, and it's going to follow the same shape as this pocket lining that you see right there. The bottom edge of the lining and the pocket bag need to be sewn and serged together. And then I'm just going to hand baste that down to keep it in place, and then just forget that the pockets are there, and then I can carry on and construct my zipper as if the pockets were not there. It's not going to involve any change in the way you sew your zipper at all. You can see the two bottom edges of the pocket have been sewn and serged. I have done some hand basting to hold all these layers at the waist and on the hips, and underneath the zipper fly extensions. That's just all in place, and now I can sew my zipper and forget that these pockets are there. So you might think, how does that affect the zipper? It doesn't affect it at all. I sewed my zipper in the exact same way I would sew anything. I just ignored those pocket pieces that were basted on there, just acted like that was one layer. And I want to show you how the pockets look when they're behind all the zipper business. Here are my pants. After finishing the front and the back separately, I put them together. I've sewn the side seams and the inseam. And I want to show you how this looks like with the zipper. This is where we do the top stitching for the fly front, and that catches the pocket right there, so that's all caught. On this side though, after sewing the zipper shield, I actually had to sew that by hand right there on the edge. So on that bit right there, I've sewn that by hand. So that's how that side is caught. I can't really do any top stitching here because that isn't part of the style of the pants. Everything's neat. The pockets are all inside, and all those extra layers around there on the zipper area just give it more structure. I don't think it's a bad thing to have the pockets go all the way to the center. And now when you put it on, it's going to feel really good here around this area. So you saw that on the side where the top stitching is done, that top stitching actually closes that area of the pocket. But on the other side where the shield is, I had to do some hand sewing. I never mind that hand sewing, it's fine. And because we have a zipper, I can't cut my front waistband on the fold anymore. It has to be open here, and you need to leave some extra space in these areas to allow for all the zipper and the waistband and the overlap. So I want to show you that as well. Now I'm just going to put on my curved waistband and then do my hem, and I'll be done. The original Duet trousers have the waistbands both on the fold because you just have a zipper on one hip. So this is the back piece, you would cut it on the fold, and the front piece you would cut it on the fold as well. But I'm not doing a zipper on the side. I just want to do a regular fly front zipper. So my front piece is not going to be cut on the fold. It's going to be open for the zipper. So nothing changed with the back here. I extended it to create one full piece. And this is my main waistband. This is interfaced. My inner waistband is not interfaced, and I'm going to use just a lightweight contrasting cotton that's really pretty. It's going to be nice. Because I know I'm going to need extra length at the center for my zipper business, and I don't want to fuss with measuring or anything, I just left myself a big margin here. It's about 2.5 inches. So that I know I'm going to have enough for the overlap and all that. I don't want to mess around with having a left waistband and a right waistband. That's just, yeah, you don't need to do that. Just leave an extra amount, and that's what I have here. I'm going to start pinning from the side, and then whatever's left over, I'm just going to trim away. These right there are going to be for the front. These seams are going to match the side seams of the pants, and the inner waistband is exactly the same as the outer. It's just that that one's not interfaced and that one's interfaced. And the area that you're going to sew onto the pants is this lower curve right there. That is what gets sewn onto the pants. I've got the pants wrong sides out, and this is the back area that we're looking at. Here is my waistband all assembled, the outer layer. And because I'm going to be sewing this on the reverse, on the outer layer, I have already pressed that by 5/8 of an inch. When I did that, I did a guide stitch all around the curve to help me press that well. You can see I don't have 5/8 of an inch folded up. I had trimmed it away to about 1/4 of an inch to reduce bulk. And then my inner layer, that's the one that I've just got extended. After sewing them together, I understitched, and I also did a few snips around the curve. Let me show you how curved this is. It's very curved. Put your waistband like this and then flip it, and that's how you're going to start pinning it from the center towards the sides. Remember, I made this area just long, just extra long, so I could trim away to when I get to the zipper area. While I've been handling and assembling this waistband, I've been really careful in the way I manipulate it because all this is so curved, you get part of bias there. So it is a risk that this ends up stretching out. So I've been really careful with that. And also to avoid any distortion, when I was sewing my pants initially, I did stay stitching here on the waistline. Linen tends to stretch, especially as this waistline is curved as well. So you can see that stay stitching there. There is my little yellow mark for the center back, and I've just pinned all the way, matching the side seam of the waistband with the side seam of the pant, and then going off to the center front on one side. This is why I just left extra, because I knew that the shield I was going to add, I didn't really want to be bothered about measuring that or doing that. So that's why from the center front of the original waistband that was supposed to be on the fold, I just left about 3 inches. And then on this side, I have just enough left. What I'm going to do now is just trim to leave 3/8 of an inch hanging here, and the rest can just be cut off. And when we get to the other side, the side where we have the top stitching visible on the right side, I have more protruding. You always need a longer waistband on the side that has the shield. I'm going to trim away and just leave 3/8 here so we can close up these center fronts. Now it's just a really long seam. Then we turn the pants to the right side here. That seam will already be there, and then this waistband will just cover that seam, and we top stitch on the visible side of the pants. I really enjoyed making them, and just knowing that all the little changes I wanted were going to be possible, because that's what you can get with sewing. Just turned up the lighting a little bit. Maybe you can see them a bit more. This is a curved pocket opening. Inside I have this beautiful lining. It's a cotton, it's beautiful. No one's going to see it. And my curved waistband, my button, my fly zipper. This is top stitched just in a single row. They're not jeans, so I don't want to do that twice. On the back you can see the dart, and I matched the dart to the seam that I added on the patch pocket. If you can see, they're like in the same place. Not that anyone's gonna notice, but I do notice, and I wanted that to match. And yeah, just top stitch that patch pocket on. Patch pockets are always so easy. I didn't do any top stitching on the crotch curves. I just left it normal. I didn't top stitch the side seams or the inseams. It's just very simple, no fuss pair of trousers. Hem allowance, I folded it up by 1 inch and just top stitched. I always know that the fit that I get with my test garment is going to be about 90% of what I'll get with the real thing, because I'm not going to make a test garment out of linen. There is just no way I'm going to do that. So this fabric does relax, ends up always being a little wider than the original pair. This fabric that I use for the test garment is really stiff. It has zero give. You know, I think it's an accurate representation of the fit. But I always know this is going to be a little bit looser. So I'm always willing to make a few tweaks when I'm doing this. After the waistband was on, I just picked up from close here and just started bringing it in by about 1/4 inch all the way down to the bottom. It's just because the linen, you know, it's just a little bit different. And after wearing them for a little while and faking the footage of me outside, I know I'm going to come back in here and take a little bit from the crotch extension of the back. This crotch extension, I'm going to unpick a little bit here and just bring it in by maybe 3/8 of an inch, but on the back leg, because I feel that I do have a little more room than I would want there. So I'm always willing to go in there and pick and tweak little things after the fact, and I'm really, really happy. I'm happy with these pockets that go all the way across the front. They feel amazing on. Your tummy's right here, right? And anything that gives that support, it just feels so nice on. About styling black pants. These have got to be the most versatile pants. I made the tapered leg version. These are classic. They're never going to be out of style or in style. You can just always wear these types of pants, and you can dress them up, you can dress them down. I've got 2 looks. Just really quick, I just open my closet and get things out when I film these styling clips for you. So don't think I'm a fashionista and I'm really, really thinking about this. I just go with the flow. Here I'm wearing a fitted white top in an athletic knit that's got an asymmetric overlay over one side. I've got some green shoes and a green bag, and yeah, I think it's a great look, really relaxed, informal, comfortable. The pants are great. They've got the correct length. I think they fit amazing. I think the ease is great. When I was almost done sewing the pants, I just brought them in on the side seams by 1/4 inch, sort of like a last fitting thing. Up closer you can see my curved waistband. Instead of adding that invisible zipper on the hip, I added a fly front zipper. I prefer that. The pants fit the same, it's just a different way to get into them. And at the back I added some back patch pockets just to bring them a little closer to me. And I know I'm going to go in and tweak that inseam just on the back leg, just bring it in a little as well. I'd like to have a little less space right there, but overall super happy with these. The darts, the back patch pockets, the way the pockets feel on the front, I think it's really great. Here's another look, a bit warmer this time with one of my Terra tunics, a really nice sweater knit little scarf. I have these sneakers that match a handbag. I love those. I think they go really great with the grey tones in the Terra tunic. Black pants will go with everything. So another little casual outfit. These are a size 18. I have made some length adjustments to the front and the back rise. I've also added 1.5 inches of length to the legs. Scooped the back curve of the crotch just a little bit, not extreme, a little bit by about 3/8 of an inch. And in general, I'm super happy with these. I love taking a base pattern like this and making changes to it. And even though my black pair looks so different, it's still the original fit. It's all the exact same thing. All the other things are just what I wanted. I think it still makes it the same pair of pants, you know? Remember to check out the Duet trousers this weekend for only $5. And if you want the course this weekend, you can get the pattern for free included if you don't have it already. Use my code PINS10 for an extra 10% off. That's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this one, gave you some ideas. I'll see you soon and have an amazing weekend. Bye.